We want Logan to sing, you know. But, you know, one of the things we talked about when we were in New York was discovery, right? You know, sort of, we talk about your album, and many of us are used to going into a record store and experiencing the curation that the record store puts in front of us and flipping through and in a sound station listening to new artists. You know, and then we hear about sort of now it's all, you know, digital, it's SoundCloud. You know, you know, how is discovery different, you know, as far as in a digital world? You know, how do we have sort of, you know, how are people, do they get that same rush that we used to get of walking into a record store and discovering a new artist that, you know, you get now?
I think it's a wonderful question. I still appreciate getting the vinyl, getting the CD, going through the booklets. I can't speak for the younger generation who have never bought music in their life and may never. And I think streaming is, I mean, it's done wonderful things for musicians in terms of discovery. I have found numerous bands that I would have never found otherwise, thanks to Spotify and the clever SoundCloud, the clever people over there. But it also has led to the complete devaluation of music, to the point where kids these days will have never purchased music in their entire lives. It has zero monetary value to them. And that is frightening to me as a musician moving forward as these younger children get older and assume roles in music supervision positions or things like this, where they will be the ones paying the artist in the only place artists can make money anymore. And there are people that have never purchased music in their life. So I think streaming is incredibly important, but also it puts us in a very vulnerable position. We have a question, it looks like.
I want to make a comment because this is important.
Go.
I have a 17 and 15-year-old daughter.
Congratulations.
No, but I'm telling you this.
Is there a Lauren in the family?
All three of my kids are named Lauren. No, but she has discovered vinyl because she is buying albums at a ridiculous pace. So
I love it.
Slightly disappointed kids are starting to rediscover.
Absolutely. Vinyl is making a comeback, but vinyl at this point is so expensive for bands to press at this point. It's a hard way for us to go. Oh, Logan has something.
I just want to hold the mic. No, what I was going to say is I honestly feel like the internet is still the Wild West, and there's so many ways people are still figuring out how to work an angle and make money or monetize something. And usually when people find out a way to monetize it, that's when it starts getting regulated, and that's when it becomes uncool. Or, you know, people stop doing it. But I do feel like a lot of artists, and again, this is like a high-tier artists, like Kendrick Lamar, Frank Ocean, Beyonce. These people they're releasing music on exclusive platforms. And I swear to God, I've paid more, I have personally bought more music in the past 6 months than I have in the past 2 years, because these people are releasing it only on whatever Jay-Z's thing is. What's that called? Tidal.
I thought you were going to say you bought more music than the money you've made.
That too. But I do feel like people are going to start figuring out ways to make it so that it is exciting. And Kendrick Lamar he'll release an album at midnight and not say anything, or, you know, it's like a surprise. And I do feel like the younger generation are going to have that same excitement of flipping through physical records, but they're going to be flipping through their phone, and they're going to be like, oh my God, my favorite artist just released an album that no one knew they were going to do. So I feel like there's hope for streaming, and I feel like there's hope for this digital format, but I think it's just being figured out as we exist in real time. That's my 2 cents. Lauren?
Yeah, hi, I'm Lauren, and I thought Logan and I were friends.
You can see why I keep them around. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we chatted, and I think that, like, the way that kids sort of get the same sense of discovery when they, like, you know, Spotify or whatever will have the option of, like, if you like this, click on this thing and it'll lead you to this thing. And I think that same element of discovery does kind of come in, but it's just a different way. And not to make like an old fart kind of statement, but am I maybe the only person that's said fart on the Techonomy stage? I just thought that. No, not to make like an old fart statement. I think that like, you know, people ages 20 and under are just gonna like always look at the world differently because they grew up in a technology era. So they don't even like give a shit about going to a record store. Not because they don't give a shit about going to a record store, it's like they didn't even do it. So they don't even know to do it. And I mean, maybe that's the wrong way to look at it, but I just kind of think like we can't necessarily expect like the sweet little children of the future to appreciate things that they kind of didn't really ever experience. And I think I have nieces and a nephew who are young, 7 and under. And I kind of think about what the world looks like for them when they decide to go to college and discover bands. And I mean, how much it's going to change from now to then and what that discovery process is going to look like. I think the one thing I want as a songwriter and as a person that gets royalty checks in the mail, to just like, if we're just gonna go there, I think the thing I want to see is kind of going back to, like, to me, it's completely insane that Spotify has a free option. You have millions and millions and millions of songs. Like, would it kill you to pay even $5 a month for the access? Because what that access looks like to me is like literal food on my table. Like, I understand it's your dance fucking party at your birthday, but it's also my life, my entire livelihood, my entire career, my literal ability to provide for myself and the people around me. So I think what I do want to see is a change there, and I don't mean to call Spotify out. You know, there's a million ways you can listen to music these days for free, and I do wish there would be more of a regulation, because you're right. What you then have is you've got these artists who have a lot of power, Beyonce and Taylor Swift and Katy Perry and Kendrick Lamar and Jay-Z, and you know, these people that are the top tier artists out there that can choose to have something exclusive because they are that big. But what it looks like for somebody like me or other bands that we're friends with, other artists that we're friends with, like, who are making a living but aren't Beyonce, is we don't have that luxury. We don't have the luxury of being exclusive. It is everything to me to make myself available to the world around me and my music available to the world around me. So how does that get more fair for those of us that like are surviving, but how much it would change if there was a bit more of a protection measure put in?
We're probably seeing that in a lot of industries. I mean, obviously music is one, but a lot of creative industries where people are trying to create something of value. But, you know, one of the things that was interesting that we talked about earlier is you've been on tour, you've been sort of in a van or a bus traveling the country, and obviously we're sort of still lamenting about what happened on sort of Tuesday as far as...
Tuesday, people. Fucking Tuesday.
And you said something interesting about, you know, data. You know, we had all these people coming up and really talking about, you know, Hillary was going to win. But you said something about driving, you know, physically driving through the country, never seeing a Clinton bumper sticker.
We never saw one. So we have driven probably, we've been on the road for almost a year and a half straight, with the exception of like a Christmas vacation, right? And we have been in big cities, in small cities, in no cities. We've been all over the place. We've driven thousands and thousands of miles at this point. And we talked about it 8 months ago. We talked about it 3 months ago. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. We didn't see a single Hillary Clinton bumper sticker. And back to data, like, that shit speaks. It just does. Like, it was a fascinating thing for us.
Where do people go wrong, right? We saw that, you know, days before the election, everyone's saying, oh, well, there's this probability she's going to win. But you saw it on the ground, right? Driving through the country from,
Fully.
You know, and so where do we miss?
I would say, I mean, we are not pollsters, we are not statisticians, we're musicians, but I think that system is incredibly archaic. First of all, people that were voting for Trump, a lot of them, aren't the type of people, first of all, that are going to be answering a telephone number that they don't recognize. Because that's not a call that they wanted. that's the creditor call. So they didn't answer their phone calls. Or, a lot of these polling companies were calling landlines. I haven't had a landline in 15 fucking years. So it's like, of course the polling was wrong. It's an archaic system. I actually did answer one of the calls, and I had a conversation with some woman in Charlotte, North Carolina, being I was like, listen, I've seen a lot of Trump posters. It's happening. She's like, that wasn't the question, sir. So I just feel like there's a better way to go about it, and God save us all. Next year, Techonomy is going to be a very different scene, and I'm hoping for the best. I mean, we have the only thing we can do right now is try and be hopeful and just stand up for the things that we believe in with this tyrant of a man who just was elected. Jesus.
Well,
Anyways,
I think Jeroen said
music.
well, sort of, at dinner and sort of, we've talked about it. Sort of at this point, we have to all come together and sort of really believe that it's possible and sort of.
We have to be purple like the wine, which I will be drinking a lot of.
But again, we appreciate you guys, coming out, and we look forward to.
I also just want to say, not for nothing. It's really, really cool for us. We're musicians, but we try and keep up with the world and what's going on around us and how technology changes our world, because technology really affects our world, whether it's social media to reach our fans or on stage with these silly little things in our fucking heads. So yeah, there are literal computers back here. I mean, it's our lives, the way we record, everything that we do. So technology is a big deal to us, and what you all do in the tech world and how you guys keep us feeling hopeful, because you're doing things that are changing the world, are making our lives easier, are making us healthier, are making us more aware, more conscious of our carbon footprints, more, the tech world has given us so many gifts. So it really is a total treat for us to be here and be part of this, because we are so appreciative, because the music industry existed a long time without technology, I guess, in theory, the way that it operates now. But God, we talk about it every day, even just kind of like the fact that we tour around and Google Maps just gets us there. And we're like, what did they do in 1965?
They
You read
out the paper maps.
I know it sounds ridiculous. I grew up with parents who made us read the maps. No, but you even think when you were calling from a payphone, right? Doing the deals, you read Keith Richards' book, and he tells these stories about driving through bumfuck Alabama and whatever, and you're just like, God, it was just a different life back then, and how much technology has just made our lives easier, and makes it take less time to do things. And we're really, really grateful for everything you guys are doing to make our lives just easier. Genuinely, very grateful.
Right. Well, again, I think the idea that creativity, will continue to exist. Machines won't replace that.
Well, Kurzweil did speak about that last night, and I missed it. But anyways, should we play some more music? What do you think? Also, if Mark Zuckerberg's in the room, you look like you've been working out. Add me on Facebook. We're happy to share the stage with you.